Hello everybody. Today's NHL best bet starts, and as you see here in Finland, the weather is a bit wintry, so minus 26 Celsius requires a little bit warmer clothing. But there were only two games last night in NHL, and our picks were not extremely good because both of those games that we predicted were not correct. And here you can see those games. So we had a Chicago and Florida game. We predicted Chicago. Florida won 5-2, and then Pittsburgh won home shootout against Washington 4-3. That was a very tight game. And as there were only two games, I think it's good to note that if you want to be profitable better, it may not be wise approach to find always two games or two bets every day, because there are maybe not so great values. And here I think we saw it very clearly that it would be good to maybe bet only one game or skip day, and then when there's a multiple good value bets, then you can bet more in one day. But how do you see, Tommy, these two games? Was it any close, or were we completely wrong in these predictions?
Yeah, of course, when you lose a bet, you lose a bet, so no excuses there. But you always have to look behind those numbers and see what happens in the games. And I think, for example, this Pittsburgh-Washington game, we were quite well there. It was really close game. Washington lost the lead twice in there. Goaltender gave up one goal from behind the goal. These sort of things. Ovechkin shot two posts and out in the end of the game in the third period, and on a power play. So it's a puck in, puck out, bounce in, bounce out game. And of course, when it's decided in the shootout, it means that it's just a coin flip there. So when you have positive value for a better team, I would say Washington Capitals here. I think it was a good bet and could have easily be won as well. So let's do that again when the opportunity arises.
Yeah, I think it's good to know that when the probability is somewhere around 50, you win every other game and you lose every other game. So this is just pure statistics, and good to keep in mind when you place your bets.
Exactly. When it's 50-50, it's enough to win one more than lose one more. So it will be profitable. There's a little bit of a similar sort of thing in Florida with the Panthers' first game. Of course, the numbers 5-2 indicate that Florida was a lot better team, but it was all tied, very close game until the third period. Actually, in the second one, I think Chicago was gaining a little bit momentum there, but Florida bounced back instantly in the third period. So it was our boy from Finland, Eetu Luostarinen, who got the game-winning goal and broke the back of Chicago Blackhawks. So good stuff there. But maybe there we emphasized a little bit too much. Chicago's already played two games, played okay against Tampa Bay, and Florida's first game showed a little bit in the beginning in the second period then, but definitely got their act together in the third, and it was a deserved win. Also notable, Keith Yandel continued his Ironman streak, so almost 900 games now straight played. So tough guy there in Florida defense, and of course scored a goal tonight as well. So congratulations, and keep the run going. How about tonight then? How does it look? We have a little bit of more games, a little bit better selection maybe there.
Yeah, we have picked two games here to our table, and first one, Winnipeg goes to Toronto. This is Toronto's third game or fourth game, so they have played a few of those already. Second game for Winnipeg, and here Toronto is clear favorite, but our numbers indicate that this would be much closer game. We also show the Toronto as a favorite here. The probability to win is 52.5%, but odds indicated much higher, so we pick up Winnipeg out of this one. And then another game, this is early game, starts already around noon Eastern time. Columbus visits Detroit, and Detroit won Carolina 2 nights ago and picked their first win. Columbus has been playing earlier with Nashville on the road as well, and they have been struggling a bit there, and Nashville won previous game 5-2. Columbus will most probably bring Joonas Korpisalo to the goal, and Detroit scoring is maybe a bit below average, so our pick here is under 5.5 goals with odds minus 111. How do you see, are these those picks that you would make out of all the games and markets, or is there some other games that you think make sense to pick today slate?
Yeah, I think those games are the best value. There is in Toronto, Winnipeg, of course, both teams a little bit struggling defensively. Both teams, well, Toronto has definitely some issues with goaltending as well. Connor Hellebuyck, of course, in Winnipeg, one of the better goaltenders, so they have that going. For the road team, Winnipeg, I'm expecting quite a lot of goals, but with these odds, definitely Winnipeg worth the punt. And then, of course, Detroit versus Columbus, both teams play defensively. They don't have high caliber offensive players, Dylan Larkin, of course, for Detroit. And Pierre-Luc Dubois is still questionable for Columbus with his trade request. So probably a low scoring game there. So I see good value in those picks. There is a couple of interesting ones we have here as well. For example, New York Islanders hosting Boston. We have tiny value for New York Islanders there. They are underdogs in our simulations, but they're even heavier underdogs by the odds. So tiny value there, but there was a historical heavyweight on Islanders there, so not worth a punt this time around. A couple of games with clear favorites as well. St. Louis Blues against San Jose Sharks, but we have them winning about 70% of the time. The odds are around 60%. So clear home favorites, but the odds are not that attractive. So we will not pick that in this video. Otherwise, of course, our forever favorites, Edmonton, in their second game against Montreal. So if they are doing the same sort of performance as they did against Vancouver, that they lost the first one miserably and then bounced back to the next one, Edmonton could be winning this one as well, but it's tough to say. Was there some other picks that you would like to mention in our simulations?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting game in Anaheim when Minnesota visits Ducks there. Anaheim played pretty reasonably well against much better Vegas Golden Knights team in those two away games that they've had so far. And Minnesota won both away games against Kings overtime 3-4, so they have won 2 games already. But Anaheim may surprise here. The track record for them is not very good. During the last seasons, Minnesota has visited Anaheim 5 times and won 4 of those. And also Minnesota has been pretty good team on the road. So whenever the away win percentage for team is below 40, but then third or more game, it's over 45. So they have been able to play better and better when they are a longer road trip. So that plays against a little bit different values here. But I think if you would like to have another game and don't believe the performance of Anaheim against Vegas, then Minnesota would be the pick here. How about the game between what was it? Calgary and Vancouver. Vancouver has played a bit up and down against Edmonton, but do you think they can surprise the favorite home team?
That's a tough one to call, and of course, we've seen already in Canada these games have been up and down and very entertaining battles. I think Calgary is a lot tougher team, but Vancouver then brings in the speed and the skill, so it's a bit of a mismatch of different styles there. So of course, Calgary has their skill players as well, Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan, and the like. So I think it will be a very entertaining one, but I do have Calgary winning this one, as well as the simulations do have about 65% for Calgary. It is the first game of this series between these two, so interesting to see how this Canadian pairing will do, as are all the Canadian pairings, of course, with that 10 games or 9 games played against each other.
Yeah, actually they played on Saturday evening already.
Okay.
One game. Calgary won the 3-0, so maybe the defense there, led by the Jakob Markström as a goalie, could provide similar kind of good performance, and then Calgary can pull another victory here. Another interesting game, I think, is when Arizona goes to Vegas. Like I said, Vegas hasn't been any, how do I say it, the level how we expected in those first 2 games against Anaheim. They won overtime, the second one 2-1, and first one was of course a bit bigger win, but I think now Arizona can be a good barometer for Vegas than that how good this team actually is. But there was some injury information from Arizona that maybe is decreasing their win percentage.
Yeah, we just received news that Oliver Ekman-Larsson is out for a longer period of time. He is placed on the injury reserve list, so the top defender for Arizona is out, which of course hinders their chances a little bit. We indicate the game to be quite close, even with Ekman-Larsson out. They're there with the odds, not a lot of value there. Vegas is, of course, favorites there, but Arizona already showed that they have this sort of feistiness that they can compete, and then Vegas still has the similar issues as we've been speaking all along in this preseason, is that their centermen are not in the par with their scoring wingers, so they can't create that many chances. The second game against Anaheim was a good example of that. They didn't have that many A-grade goal scoring chances against Anaheim, and Anaheim is by no means any sort of level to match with Vegas. So a bit worrying there, but I'm sure that they will work on it to be able to produce a lot more scoring chances, which they will need to do in order to beat the teams like Arizona, for example, who are defending really well and have at least a decent goalkeeper. I think Antti Ranta will be starting again, as per some reports, but we don't know. Darcy Kemper is at least as good as Ranta there.
Yeah, it's good to see if Vegas can continue the trend what they have had during the last seasons, that their overall home win percentage is 64%, but the first home game win percentage is over 68, so almost 69%, and that's quite high number. And they have been winning more than 2 out of 3 games that they played home first. So it seems that they are happy to come home and provide information, provide good game to the teams. Now when they are playing multiple games at home, this edge of course decreases a bit, so maybe they cannot provide as good performance as they used to do when they come back from the road trip, while they have been playing already 2 games at home already. But we'll see how this and all the other games go. But we'll start today's follow-up with Columbus visiting Detroit, and then continue the games that are starting later. There's one bit earlier game. Boston visits New York Islanders at I think 5 p.m. Eastern time, and then other games are later. So there's again another great night for hockey here in Finland, and another great day in hockey in North America.
Yeah, let's watch some games tonight.